This is a problem. And people have written about this for years, but these are not popular topics because people love sports. And when I write and talk about these things, I love talking about it because it's so subtle, yet it's undeniable. You know what I mean? When I talk about, Kaepernick, and people want to say, well, it's a slave auction. It's like, no, at the slave auctions, the mothers probably were grabbing onto their children before they never saw them again because they were split up. The slaves were probably sleeping in shacks and outhouses and outside. They didn't have $20, $30, $40 million mansions. When I say sports is rigged, it's that we're willingly, like, when's the last, you don't see people protesting this stuff. And slowly people are waking up, but most people, they don't know that their taxes are being used to fund the stadiums. Number two, they really don't care. This is my wild card point for this video. If you made it this far, you subscribe, you're an independent thinker, you got patience, I'm sure you learned a lot. This is the wild card. Alright, independent thinkers, we're back with another video. Today we're gonna talk about sports, idol worship, entertainment again. We're gonna continue this theme of mastering and taming the senses. Please check my previous videos, especially the Roe and Wade and abortion video. There's a lot of information about population control in that video. You will learn a lot in that video, trust me. The video before that, I have on devil, 100% proof that the devil exists. A little funny epiphany that I experienced that made me realize the devil does exist and how to prove the devil exists. But with this one, I wrote an article. It was inspired by two things. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, so the news of the Baker Mayfield trade and the Cleveland owners wanting to renovate the stadiums. Now, if you're new to this channel, you have to go back. You should binge watch this channel. I went a year or so in between without doing videos, but there's 700 videos on this channel, and I went to the NBA Finals, I think 2017, and I questioned and asked a lot of people, would they attend these games, or would they attend the games if they knew they were paying, like it was coming out of their tax money? Because the majority of these stadiums were funding, and as I posted in my article, and I've told these people, stadiums are not good investments for cities. Now, Cleveland being one of the poorest cities, one of the miserable cities, cold weather, one of the least sunniest cities, sports teams besides 2016, not too much to write home about. But we have 2-3 sports teams, sometimes for Jacobs Field turned into a new stadium. The Cavs got a new stadium. The Browns get a new stadium. Downtown Cleveland is renovated. So all of this stuff is in my article. I'm going to post a link to the article because during the 2016 RNC, which I was there every day, one of the local activists gave a speech on the Tale of Two Cities because downtown was freshly made up. They put millions of dollars into it, of course, because they knew the RNC was coming ahead of time. And the whole world, the whole media was there. This is Trump's, he looks like he's been, people were thinking he had a chance or whatever, and this and that. So it was a real big event, and the whole world was there. And the speech that the activists gave was, they were reading like police reports. So many people had been shot since this RNC was happening and while it was happening, less than a mile radius from downtown. No one really was even listening because they're like, oh, this isn't controversy, this isn't news or whatever. But it was called The Tale of Two Cities. That video is also in the article because that ties into this, because sports is rigged and is a scam. I'm not speaking so much of the officiating and different things like that, but this is, you can't deny this. Like the referees and stuff. I mean, yes, some of them admitted they've cheated and this and different things like that. But this is political and this is factual. And when I say that sports is rigged, I'm saying that it's a scam insofar that it's actually stealing taxpayers' money, because taxpayers are funding these sports teams. But entertainment, when you speak on these issues, people don't, it's not flashy, and it's, when you learn doing different videos covering different topics, a wide range of topics, like I said, you go through my channel and you'd be hard pressed to find someone that's covered the different amount of topics that I've covered in such a short amount of time. And I'm saying that to say that sometimes the not hot topics and the unpopular and the boring and mundane topics, these are like hidden, but there can be the most deadliest. And I feel like that's what sports is to a certain extent. It's a weird paradox because Cleveland is the perfect example, which is why I wrote this article, because the Browns owners are in talks of spending more, continue to fix up downtown, right, to keep the area looking nice and neat, and then they're saying they're gonna get over $1 billion to fix the Browns stadium. Now, as I said, Cleveland was one of the poorest, one of the most dangerous, lack of jobs, you name it, we got it. If it's bad, like we're at the near top of bad lists, not the good list. So why are we using taxpayers' money to fund sports? Do we have to be entertained that bad? Do we? Think about it. If all the Cleveland schools have an S in terms of like performance and actually teaching kids, the housing, you've probably seen a few videos like on the housing market and the dilapidated housing. So when I say sports is rigged, it's that we're willingly, like, when's the last, you don't see people protesting this stuff. And slowly people are waking up, but most people, they don't know that their taxes are being used to fund the stadiums. Number two, they really don't care. Because maybe like roughly $50 to $100, I guess, per year, depending on the city. But if you have hundreds of thousands of people, that adds up to millions and millions and millions of dollars. And these stadiums take 15, 10, 20 years to be paid off. The employment is not year round. Sure, they may make a nice, decent salary. The people that work there, it's not year round employment, depending on where you live. It's the people, it's not, it's a scam. It's a scam because it's stealing money. Like, it's not, if tax is supposed to represent the people, if taxes, the money from taxes is allocated for resources to help us, and the money that could be helping schools, teachers, more books, education, whatever, it's going to sports. But it's like we only pay attention to the kids in sports. That's how we talk. The most popular kids are the kids in sports. The smart kids are always overlooked. Now that's kind of changing, but for the most part, it's never been like that. if you notice, I've done several articles on this. Like when someone is if you want to donate something to a school or something, it's like a gym. It's never like computers, like STEM computers or nothing to help, minorities and that. I did a video on March for Science, and there was like 2 black people and the thousands of people walking downtown. It was like we're not in the STEM, not like nowhere near as we should be. And to bring it back to sports, there's also an article I wrote a year or so ago. In Baltimore, the average GPA was 0.13. And they were building new football fields for their people in like middle school or high school or whatever. But the average GPA was 0.13. So sports is a scam because we're so miserable with our lives and love, because this is before the internet, before social media and stuff. We're so miserable with our lives, we have to have sports. This video will change your view on entertainment forever. It's my favorite video. I think it's my best video. I'll link it in the description. And it's basically talking about how like everything we do revolves around entertainment. How we put up with work. Everything in life we put up with revolves around entertainment. I'll speak on it in the recent article that I wrote about the Cleveland Browns renovation stadium, that if you notice, like there's always a hot activist issue, and then people go back. It's like the issue dies down, and because people are going back to being entertained and watching sports. If you remember a few years ago when they rioted in Baltimore, Ray Lewis got mad and told the kids to get in the house or whatever. And I think there was an interview. He said, if we cancel the season, all hell's gonna break loose, because we're distracted. We're so attached to sports, and we have to normalize it and make it popular public opinion. We have to make it an okay narrative to sit down in front of a TV, to get tattoos of teams that we spend money. These teams aren't like in the stock SP 500, whatever. Like we're not making any profit off of these teams, and we're giving them our taxes. So it's like, how is that not a scam? Because the stadiums can't hold the entire city. So the majority of people that are paying don't even attend the games, probably can't even afford good seats. That's not some kind of scam. At least let the people that want to attend the games, let them pay for the stadiums. And then, the players, they go to the Boys and Girl Club, smile for the pictures, shake some hands, give some kids some pizzas and some toys, and that's it. And that's fine. You do good, that's fine. But let's be real. This is a scam. And it's the biggest scam because it's like small talk. It's like small talk 101. Like, how's the weather? How about those? Like, when you don't know anything to say and there's awkward silence, we're taught, you bring up a sports team and talk about the weather. So it's embedded, it's ingrained in our society, and it has to change. Sometimes it's like the small little things that create the biggest change that you wouldn't even think. You know what I mean? When I talk about, Kaepernick, and people want to say, well, it's a slave auction. And it's like, no, at the slave auctions, the mothers probably were grabbing onto their children before they never saw them again because they were split up. The slaves were probably sleeping in shacks and outhouses and outside. They didn't have $20, $30, $40 million mansions. There's so much wrong with like the perspective. There's so many perspectives wrong. It's like a Rubik's cube, and each block is like we have to get all the colors to match. But it's like we got a blue, a white, a yellow, a orange, a red, all on the same side, and we think it's okay. And it's like, no, this has to go here, this has to go here. Sports is a scam. It's a scam because it's still in tax money. It's still in tax money, and no one's doing anything about it. Like, this is a problem. And people have written about this for years, but these are not popular topics because people love sports. And when I write and talk about these things, I love talking about it because it's so subtle, yet it's undeniable. It's undeniable that it's taking tax dollars, because it is. And some people, like I posted in the article, in Jacksonville and different things, they don't want to be publicly funded. Like, they don't want their tax money going to this stuff. And we have to keep raising and bring awareness that, I mean, the sports betting, it's so much money put into this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just, we're like funding our destruction. We're funding our own demise. We're leading ourselves to the slaughter for entertainment. Think about it. Like, we're willingly letting our tax money be used for something that isn't a necessity, but education and different things like that is. And this is my wild card point for this video. If you made it this far, you subscribe, you're an independent thinker, you got patience, I'm sure you learned a lot. This is the wild card. Because this is a whole nother video in itself that I may do. This is the wild card. The woke athletes, the athletes that wanted to protest at the bubble, like all these players that are kneeling and different things like that, right? The communities that you want to represent and that you came from and that you want to advocate for, you're taking money from their tax money. Like, this is funding you. It's building the stadium, but they get the money from the tickets and sponsorships. But you kind of get what I'm saying. Like, they're not going to speak out against this. Like, it's easy to say what someone else and, point the finger. But, bruh, this is... Are you not going to say, wow, this stadium cost $1 billion and I can drive around a corner and see 30 abandoned houses and crime is rampant and there's no jobs and economy here? When are athletes gonna speak out about that? I don't know, but let me know what you think. So far, I'm gonna keep pumping out some more videos, but this is more of like this isn't a trending topic, so to speak, but I'm gonna try to make some trending videos, quote unquote. I'm still gonna give an independent perspective, but let me know what you think in the comments below. All right.